So back in the Woodrow Wilson days, yes, I don't even have to say my name. You know exactly who you're listening to. Back in the Woodrow Wilson days, the idea was that the press was just not cozy enough with those in the White House and those that they covered. And so they thought if we could just get them enamored and get them into our lifestyle, then they will stop representing the American people because they will see their job as we're really in this together. And the White House Correspondents Dinner was started. Everybody looks at this as a great grand tradition. I look at it as a black spot on journalism, and especially.
Why did you use that color? You know, there it is again. We learned this from last hour.
I was going to say red spot, but I'm trying to make friends with the Indians. What are you talking? So anyway, I look at it as really the downfall of all journalism in America. This is where it began.
But the officials in the government are not blameless either. This is,
No, they did it intentionally.
It's hideous from start to finish. And
now, it may not have been, 50 years ago. It may have been just kind of like an old boys club. But I think Tom Brokaw said it best. He was talking about this, I think it was last year, and he said he was disgusted by it, and he hasn't gone in years. And he said it really started going downhill the year that Fawn Hall was brought into the Correspondents' Dinner. But even Fawn Hall at the time was part of the news cycle.
Fawn Hall being the secretary to... what's his face?
Ollie North.
Ollie North,
yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. And there was some scandal about her. Did she destroy documents? Or
yeah, they accused her of storing documents, I think. And so he said that's really when it started to go downhill. And he said he watched it for a couple of years, and then he just started backing out. He said he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it anymore because it was becoming disgusting. Now, I will tell you that I went and sat at the Fox table the first year I was at Fox. And I had trepidation about going in the first place, but I thought, okay, well, maybe this will be kind of interesting. And I went with Bill O'Reilly, and Juan Williams was at the table. I think Newt Gingrich and his wife was at the table, and somebody else, some other movie star or something was at the table. And I spent most of the time just talking to Bill. And we sat there, and the room changed when the president and first lady walked into the room. And NBC was sitting right in the front. They had the best access. And they were sitting right there in the front with a table and all the Hollywood crowd. And, of course, we were way off in the back on the side. And I just watched this circus. And then as I walked out, some of the veteran journalists were like, hey, it's so good to see you. And I thought, oh, my gosh, this is like a really, really bad prom go awry. And it was all about the red carpet and, over here, Mr. Beck, over here, Mr. Beck, the shouting of the camera. It was awful. It was absolutely awful because you're supposed to be covering the news of the American people. And you're not part of the American people. How could you possibly be reflecting the values of the American people and know what is even concerning them when this is your life? Woodrow Wilson, his job was done. It completed now. So now the president gets up and Pat says, I really want to play it, but it's not worth $40 for me. And he wants to play a little bit of the funniness from the president, but I don't think I need to. I don't need to hear it. Do you need to hear it?
It's not even funny. He's mocking. First of all, no serious person believes he's Muslim. Many serious people believe he's socialist, at least, at best, socialist. Marxist or communist at worst. So, for him to throw these things in, and they love to do the birther thing. He joked about it last year or the year before. This year, I'm not the strapping young Muslim socialist I used to be. Ha The room explodes with laughter. It's really not that funny. It's really not that funny
No,
that this
especially
guy is turning our country upside down.
Yeah, especially with the Boston bomber and everything else that has happened.
Yeah.
But here's an interesting picture. Where is that picture? Yeah, that's an interesting picture. I believe that's Michael Clementi sitting there on the dais. I believe isn't that the news chief of Fox News sitting in between the two?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know Clementi well enough to... Between the president and the first lady? No, that can't be.
Write to Joel. Ask him. I'm
sure it's...
I mean,
he references...
He's gained a lot of weight since I've seen him.
He references whoever it is, so we could find that out quickly enough. I think
I don't know how he
might
did
be
that.
right.
I mean, yeah, I don't know how he sat there the whole time.
He's probably the president of the correspondents.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah, that's
Could be.
why.
That's probably.
Yeah,
that's
why
probably.
he put it.
I'm not saying that
he put it together.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that all of a sudden Michael's a really good guy.
Yeah,
and I'm certainly not saying that he's in because I know that's not true.
Right.
But it bothers me that these guys, that everybody's cozy.
It's always bothered me, and it bothered me during the Bush administration.
It bothered me during the Reagan administration.
I hated it when...
It bothered me during the Carter administration.
Okay, you weren't even alive then. But...
It bothered.
I was for the most of it.
Mm-hmm. When Laura Bush was doing the whole, she and Liz Cheney went to Chippendales and were sticking dollar bills in guys' G-strings and all that stuff, it's inappropriate.
Tanya and I went.
It's awful.
Tanya and I went one year, and I saw that the HuffPo is there, and if you're going to be a journalistic force, you're supposed to be at the White House Correspondents Dinner. We won't. I'll never buy a damn table to that thing. Never. Tanya and I went, and when we left, we went once, and I just love my wife so much. She has just got her head on her shoulders, and we left, and there were a lot of celebrities there and everything else. And I said, we got in the car, and I said, "What'd you think of that?" And she said, "I couldn't get out of there fast enough." And I said, "Awful, wasn't it?" And she said, we both felt powerful darkness in that room. Just really, really bad. And we got to the hotel, and both of us looked at each other and went, I just want to take a shower. I just feel like I've been honestly, I just feel like we've been raped here. Really bad. Mm. And all of these journalists, they don't have a problem with it. And they become one with Hollywood. There is no difference between a star journalist and a star in Hollywood. In fact, they're morphing into one. I was at